To continue with Part 18 today, you may already have some information about the true history of Earth, or perhaps you followed Parts 8 to 11 in Chapter 3 of the series, Messages from the Creators, as that would help you become more familiar with this foundational knowledge. To refresh your memory a bit, many races from different star systems have been involved in the development of the human race. Your DNA is a combination of your current ancestral lineage, along with the experiences you've had in past lives on Earth. Additionally, encoded within your DNA are the memories of all the lives and experiences you've had as an individual soul across other worlds, different star systems, other dimensions, and various timelines. The universe is not linear, although there are linear timelines running through the eternal fabric. As a soul, you have explored many of these timelines without necessarily following any particular sequence. Sequence implies time, and when you are in the aspect of yourself that transcends time, the idea of a series of events becomes meaningless. In essence, everything is happening now, including what you refer to as past lives, parallel lives, other self-experiences, etc. Ultimately, you are God, choosing to express through individual human bodies. In doing so, you are a unique aspect of God choosing to manifest, specifically you who are watching this video. Although this may seem impossible to your surface mind, it is indeed possible to perceive reality through the eyes of any of God's creations. This, of course, is only possible when you are not observing life from the perspective of the ego. For the ego is necessary in your world to function as individual human beings with seemingly separate bodies. However, your consciousness does not necessarily have to be identified with the ego. It is free to travel among universes and explore other worlds as well as other lives. Many of you currently on Earth have undergone spiritual ascension multiple times. In some cases, you have explored future timelines and returned at the right moment for a clear purpose to participate in the Galactic Shift on Earth. As mentioned before, the past and future are not set in stone, but consist of an infinite number of possible and potential realities. The realities that receive the most energy and focus, or are believed in by the greatest number of souls, become the dominant timelines. The reason for examining the nature of timelines is to prepare you for our discussion about the various non-human beings who have become involved with Earth. Not all of them are evolving along the same timeline as Earth. While this may be confusing to your linear mind's way of understanding, it will begin to make sense when seen from a higher level of awareness. Returning to the topic of those who assist Earth, we would like to categorize them into different types to aid your understanding. First are the physical extraterrestrials from other star systems. These are beings who have stepped off their spacecraft and are walking among you, or are sharing your airspace alongside your traditional flying vehicles. Second are the astral beings, including extraterrestrials in their astral form. Third are etheric beings, which include fourth and fifth density beings, divas, fairies, celestial entities, etc. Fourth are higher density beings temporarily residing in this dimension, such as those we mentioned who have lowered their vibration in order to appear in human form. Fifth are long-term trance communicators, souls who have partially or fully transitioned, known as walk-ins. Sixth are higher density entities channeling through Earth-based receivers. These include angels, ascended masters, the Creator, divine extraterrestrials, and beings from the realms of God. Seventh are other higher beings who assist silently, almost entirely unnoticed by humanity. And finally, there are future versions of yourselves and others who are returning at just the right time to help you. The first two categories include beings not fully aligned with the divine principles. Although this group is also referred to as helpers, it would be incomplete not to discuss them, as they are sometimes seen as obstructive, occasionally with helpful intentions, but lacking an understanding of the importance of human free will. There is a relatively small group of extraterrestrials living among humanity. Firstly, only a few species can blend in with humans without arousing suspicion, and only some can withstand your atmosphere and gravity. They are even able to spend a significant amount of time on Earth without lowering their vibration or becoming ill from the pervasive pollution. Some of you may naively wonder why extraterrestrials don't simply land right in front of your government headquarters, step out of their ships, and wave to your presidents or prime ministers, or appear on all national television networks. Of course, it's not that simple. As you already know, there are forces in your world that are not friendly toward other life forms. Some may appear outwardly friendly, but behind the scenes, they have secret agendas to steal alien technology, or even to kill and dissect extraterrestrials, or worse, expect them to solve all of humanity's problems. All you need to do is look at most science fiction films or television programs to see how the human mind operates in relation to extraterrestrials. Earlier films mostly portrayed wars with rebellious alien groups, often from Mars, but these have been gradually replaced with a broader perspective of the universe. For many of you, it becomes obvious that a large number of ideas in science fiction programs are inspired by real events in the universe. The higher minds of film producers, television creators, and writers serve as fertile ground for enlightenment through telepathic transmissions from various extraterrestrials. Only a few of them are consciously aware of the origins of their ideas. Certainly, many of their inspirations come from the indwelling God presence or are spontaneous creations of their imagination. However, among them are a few that closely resemble what is actually occurring in the universes. In the Star Trek series, there is something called the Prime Directive, which closely mirrors the Galactic Council's policy of non-interference. This means extraterrestrials cannot simply land wherever and whenever they wish and make grand declarations to the locals of different worlds about their achievements. The complexity of free will is highly sensitive, even for us. In fact, it is the greatest challenge we face when interacting with humanity and other life forms. Therefore, the clearest reason why extraterrestrials have not made a public appearance on your world is because the policy of non-intervention remains in effect at all levels, except at the extremely high ones. Although there is a divine provision allowing assistance from beyond Earth, that permission comes with several rules and regulations. First of all, direct intervention is limited to neutralizing certain large-scale destructive weapons and maintaining the electromagnetic grid of your planet in balance to allow it to function. None of us have allowed, nor are we currently allowing, a broad public disclosure of our presence in front of your television cameras. There have been a few races that, despite orders from higher authorities, are interfering in unauthorized ways. Most of these races do not have your highest interests at heart. Many of them are landing and walking among you without wanting to be detected, because they are hiding programs designed to take over your planet or enslave you to serve their selfish purposes. Some groups are simply curious and are studying humanity from close range, but they are the minority. Think about this for a moment. If the benevolent ones are not allowed to intervene, then who is most likely to intervene? They don't intend to reveal themselves to the public because they know you outnumber them, and frankly, they tend to view other races as enemies. It's no surprise that their fearful thoughts radiate wherever they go. We are not saying that all extraterrestrials come from a place of fear. Some races simply do not understand the non-intervention policy or are justifying their presence by claiming they are on a mission of salvation. Since the 1940s, your world has hosted between 16,000 and 23,000 extraterrestrials in physical form walking among you, primarily from the Orion and Sirius races. A small number from Zeta Reticuli and Draconian hybrids were also present on Earth in their original forms during that time, but only under the protection of dark agents within governments and militaries or in remote and secret regions of the planet. They do not look human enough to blend in. Some fourth-density Pleiadians also walk among you, but they are relatively easy to recognize due to their facial features and body shape, which are slightly different from yours. There are a few races here to help humanity, but they are not very wise in how to go about providing that help. However, most of the visitors in physical form have their own agendas. They are either exploiting Earth's resources, monitoring human development with the intention of taking over the world after you destroy yourselves, or they have a more sinister agenda of enslaving you, or are involved in genetic hybridization experiments. While a significant number of your media outlets have published sensational stories related to humans being stockpiled for food, we assure you that such groups are extremely rare and are not allowed to spread on your world. There are some more benevolent extraterrestrial groups that are keeping order in the heavens surrounding Earth, preventing invaders from getting too close. While these beings can indeed assist in certain cases, they too must abide by the policy of non-intervention. Most extraterrestrials who wish to help Earth have chosen to go through the process of reincarnation so that they can fully understand what you are experiencing. This is an act of sacrifice, as most of these races forget their purpose and mission as soon as they reincarnate on Earth in human bodies. The process of birth itself is considered quite traumatic for most souls, whether human or otherwise. To this day, there are no restrictions on who may reincarnate on Earth. That is one of the reasons why there are so many races on your world. Earth is truly a gathering place of the galaxy. Many of the problems on Earth arise from the fact that numerous undesirables have found this to be a safe haven. Many other planets in the vicinity of your spiral arm are not suitable for rebellious and regressive souls. But Earth has maintained an open-door policy and has not rejected anyone wishing to incarnate there. If you find this content thought-provoking, be sure to like and subscribe to continue the journey of discovery with us. At this point in time on Earth, there are over 22 star races reincarnated. Most of these souls carry a blend of several star systems within their DNA, meaning they have experienced many lifetimes on other worlds before coming to Earth. In some cases, souls have alternated incarnations between Earth and other worlds throughout history. Souls who have had most of their lifetimes on other planets and are relatively new to Earth are often called starseeds. In the printed book by this channel, Life on the Cutting Edge, a statistical breakdown of the percentages of different star races was conducted. Since the publication of that book, the numbers have only changed slightly. As Earth raises her vibration, there will be limits on who can reincarnate. Once Earth reaches 4th density, only souls vibrating at 4th density and above will be able to take on human bodies, or light bodies in the case of 5th density. This means races that are still stuck in 3rd density will no longer be able to come to Earth. They will reincarnate on other 3D planets. Many of you who are accessing this message have previously been extraterrestrials and have reincarnated in human form. In essence, you are all extraterrestrials, because you were projected as souls from the 7th density long before coming to Earth. Some of you are more assimilated with Earth than others. If you carry a significant amount of original Pleiadian DNA, you may be considered part of the root race, but it is very rare to find souls who have lived their entire evolutionary journey solely on Earth. Here we wish to speak in detail about the role of extraterrestrials and other helpers in the changes occurring on Earth. We will not describe in detail the history of extraterrestrial intervention on your world. However, to the best of our ability, you will receive a progress report on the various groups currently visiting your Earth, including details of what they intend to do in the coming years. Like you, they also have free will and can change their thoughts, so this information must be updated accordingly. The largest group of souls on Earth are the Orions. This is primarily due to the so-called Lucifer rebellion, which appeared about 500,000 years ago on Earth. In that event, as we mentioned earlier, souls from Rigel and Betelgeuse in the Orion constellation came to Earth in large numbers. It was a silent invasion in the sense that they primarily reincarnated into Pleiadian humans, altering Pleiadian DNA with their Orion DNA, featuring a pronounced brow ridge. Orion DNA is more aggressive and warrior-like than that of the Pleiadians, but it blended in just enough that hardly any soul on Earth understood the subtle changes happening to the nature of humanity until it was too late. Some of the competitive traits in humans stem from animalistic influences, but this mainly occurred through the combination of Orion and Draconian DNA in the past. You even have a term for it, reptilian brain, which refers to the aggressive and competitive centers of the brain. At this junction, you have many hybridized lineages of Orion and Draconis among the human race. When Earth reaches the Galactic Shift, emotional triggers will be activated within the DNA of these hybrids. Some individuals with a higher percentage of negative Orion and Draconian DNA may begin to display violent traits, depending on how deeply they are attached to the negative paths of the Orion and Draconian beings from the past. Others will find themselves cast out of the light and may require more time and effort to atone for these errors. Unfortunately, it will be very difficult for most Orions to move out of third density and remain with Earth. Although the Orions in their own star system have evolved significantly since the time of the Lucifer rebellion, with around 80% now aligned with the light, on Earth, only about 20% of Orions have reached that state. Still, this number seems favorable compared to the mere 10% of Draconians in the light. The noticeable overrepresentation of negative Orions will stand out among those leaving Earth during the Galactic Shift. The Orion souls will at some point from now need to make a decision, whether or not to receive enough light in order to remain with Earth during her transformation. This will be a difficult task for many of them, but a decision made by the soul will ultimately prevail. Those who have already been on the conscious path of soul evolution will have an easier time than those who are only beginning to awaken at the last moment, as their lives on Earth at this time will be in a state of awkwardness. You must remember that there is nothing wrong when souls leave Earth. All beings within creation eventually come to realize that there is a perfect divine plan underlying all of this outer turmoil and chaos. As we have said many times before, several planets have been arranged to receive the souls who will not be reincarnating on Earth. Most of the Orions will receive the highest guidance from the more enlightened leaders of these planets. In some cases, the planets receiving disembodied Orion beings will be more negatively polarized, meaning that these planets are primarily designated to host conflicting factions that wish to continue their struggles. However, Such planets will be contained and unable to affect the more peaceful Orions as they transition into other celestial spheres. Here, we have only mentioned the Orions and the Draconians who have caused such polarized chaos. But what about the other extraterrestrial races? Can their roles help redeem this situation? Or will they only add to the confusion? Stay tuned for the next part of the series, where you may find the answers for yourself. For now, goodbye and see you next time. If you found this content valuable and want to join us for future episodes, please like and subscribe to support the channel.